Hello, basketball coaches and basketball players. My name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to show you my top 5 half-court trap basketball zone defenses. So first in this video, I'm going to show you what I and many other coaches call the diamond half-court press because, well, guess what? There is a diamond right there. So this is a 1-2-1-1 defense. So the main idea, just like every other press defense, is to trap the offensive player in these corners. They want to go here, or we want them to go there. They don't want to go there. So what we need to try and do is have player 1, he's going to pick up the players at about just under 3/4 court, and he's going to force that player to dribble to those corners. And when they get to those corners, players 3 and 2, they're going to be trapping that player in that area. So if this is successful, once they get to that corner, we're going to have player 4 guarding the middle, player 5 guarding this area, as well as player 2, he's going to be guarding half. We don't need to worry about over here because he can't go back over half. So how this is going to work out is once he gets roughly around that circle line extended area, we're going to have player 1 pick him up, and he's going to try and force him to go one way or the other. The last thing we want is a player to get the ball right here, and that's what player 4 is defending. And then he's going to eventually, hopefully, dribble to that corner, and it'll be dead ball. Here's the second half-court trap basketball zone defense that I have for you. This one, in my first year of coaching, stumped my team for roughly 2 or 3 minutes in the first quarter because they were never pressed before. So this was the grade 8 level, and they were never pressed. And when you go against a press defense and you've never been really pressed before, especially if they pick you up at half court, you're really going to screw with that team. So what we have is player 1 and player 4. So you're going to have your biggest player, make sure he's quick, well, one of your biggest players, and then you're also your smallest player, and then you're going to have your guard and your forward just behind half, and you're going to have your center back here, 2-2-1. Anyways, we're going to have player 1, red, that's the other team. He's going to try and dribble up the middle. Well, these players are going to cut him off, and he can either have 2 options. He can either pass to the corners, which obviously we want, or he can dribble through, which he can't, and he's going to have to be forced to go one of the other ways. So if he starts going this way, we're going to have player 1 follow him, and player 4 is going to be guarding at half court. We don't really want any passes down the middle. We want to make sure that they stay either on this side of half or go into these corners. So now what we're going to have is, if he gets trapped here, which is what we hope, we will have player 5. He will be guarding this area. I hope you start seeing the same ideas behind each press. 4's then going to be guarding the middle here, and we're going to have player 3 move over guarding this area. If they really want to do a cross-court pass, this area of the court is always open in pretty much every single press defense once they get past half. We are going to have player 5. He's the one who's safety to try and cut off those passes. In this third half-court press defense, we're going to have player 1, obviously that's the other team's player. He's going to try and dribble the ball up the court. Now, this one leaves a few more options on the table open. However, this is a 2-1-2 half-court press defense. And how we're going to try and trap the players here is kind of a little bit of a trick. So, we're going to have player 1 and player 2. They're going to be cutting off player 1 from dribbling up the court. Once player 1 passes to a player, let's say in this corner, because that's what's probably going to happen, we're going to have player 3. He is going to be either going up. I personally prefer player 5 starting to see that and sneaking up there himself. And then we're going to have player 2 coming over, and they're going to be teaming up and guarding player red so that now he's trapped in that corner. And now we're going to be having, again, that zone, and that zone still there. In our second last half-court press zone defense, we're going to have a 3-2 defense. Now, this is obviously really simple if you want to just kind of move into a 2-3 or a 3-2 half-court defense as it sits. So you can move from a zone press into just a zone defense. So we're going to have player 1, he's going to try and force the guy again to the corners, and 3 and 2 are going to be popping up to try and trap these players in those corners. So now, let's say this player gets to that corner. What we're going to have is player 3 guarding this area, 4 guarding this area, 5 guarding this area, just like always. So, I hope you are starting to see the point where we always have these zones guarded. We don't want any passes to the middle. All we want is to the corners. Now here's our number 1 half-court press defense. This one moves into a 2-3 zone. So again, this is very simple and easy to run. So how we have this is player 1 is going to be dribbling up the middle of the court, or he's going to be passing to somebody up in the middle of the court. Because again, if they're being pressed and they see that, they don't want to go up the corners or the sides of the court. They want to stay in this area. So what they're going to be doing is we're going to have player 2 and 1. They're going to be cutting off player 1. Now he can either pass to players in the corners or he can dribble there himself. Obviously that's not something that the other team wants to happen. So now, if he was to dribble or pass to this corner, player 1 is going to continue to follow him, pushing him and making sure that he gets trapped over in that corner, and player 3 is going to be cutting him off and trapping him right there. And what we're going to have is player 5, he's going to stay in the middle, 2 is going to be staying at half, and we're going to have player 4 sprinting his butt off over to this corner. These players are staying there mainly because that is the number 1 spot on the court. We do not want the ball. If the ball gets here, that's totally fine, because now we can have a trap down there. So what we want is player 4 now to move down so that now 2, 5, and 4 are guarding those zones. Again, if the ball goes and gets passed and lob passed onto that side, 4 has to be safety to cut it off and get down the court. I hope you have enjoyed today's basketball play. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.